6 figures, not 7. That's how much a classmate of mine paid to get into Yale. He admitted it after getting drunk at a party to a friend of mine, and honestly, I wasn't even that surprised. The genuinely surprising part was that it was just somewhere between 200 to 300K, because I've heard of cases where parents donated millions. Today, we're pulling back the curtain on all the dirty, dark truths of college admissions. But I'm not just here to complain about the system. I'm here to show you how to play and win an unfair game. Whether you're a first-gen student navigating this maze on your own, or a middle-class kid trying to stand out in a sea of applicants, there are still ways that you, too, can game the system. Buckle up, because in this video, I'll explain concepts like the prestige bank, the institutional priority list, how to butter up your counselor, and more. I'm Kevin, Yale grad, amateur breakdancer, and pro college counselor. Since 2020, our firm, the Elevated School, has helped students from every background imaginable get accepted into every single top 20 American college and university. Over these last 5 years, I've truly seen it all, the light and the dark. I've seen parents try to pay their way in, read heartbreaking essays about students who survived the war in Ukraine and Syria. I even read multiple personal statements about kids getting captured by the Taliban. But don't worry, they're okay now. One of them is even at Stanford. However, the most common conversations I have are with students who feel lost amid this crazy, tumultuous process. Today, we're going to sift through all that noise and simplify. Here's my promise. I'm gonna spell out a dark truth, then I'll explain what you can do about it. Let's start with dark truth number 1, the prestige bank. When a college accepts you, they're making an investment. In other words, elite universities are loaning you prestige when they admit you. That Ivy League degree, that's not just a reward for being a stellar student. It's a transaction. The college is betting on you to go out and do something big. Whether it's becoming a billionaire CEO, Nobel laureate, starting a viral movement, or becoming a famous actor, artist. When you make it big, that's when the Ivy League cashes in. Take, for instance, Mr. Elon Musk. I mean, it's kind of wild when you think about it. Someone who went to Penn, not exactly known for churning out tech moguls, but look at where he is now. After Tesla and SpaceX started getting a bunch of recognition, what did Penn do? Time honors Penn alumnus Elon Musk. He won't back down. As a college student, Elon Musk pledged that he would make an impact on the internet, on the environment, and in space. 15 years later, he remains just as committed. Those are a few quotes, lines from UPenn affiliated media. As soon as Musk was getting a bunch of attention, they pounce, they jump on the chance to claim him as their own, pointing to Mr. Musk as a prime example of their elite education. So that's the prestige bank in action. Here is how you can take advantage of it. When applying to these top colleges, institutions, whether it's undergrad, grad school, you want to articulate your BHAG, your big hairy ash goals. But don't just stop there. You need to articulate your plan. Even better if you can offer concrete evidence that you actually have what it takes to achieve your crazy plans and goals and dreams. Here's an example. If you want to help lead and start a colony on Mars, don't just say that you're passionate about space exploration. Prove it. Maybe you've built a functioning model of a Martian habitat using AI, or written a few research papers, or even blog posts about sustainable life systems off-world. Or it could be as simple as creating a few YouTube videos or TikToks where you educate younger kids about really complex astrophysics topics. The key, my friends, is to build a powerful, personal brand. In fact, start so small that it's impossible to fail. Here is another example. One student harvested and donated thousands of potatoes to his local community. But he didn't start with 1,000 potatoes. He started with 1. Once you have that foundation, once you have a little bit of momentum, then you can start to build your profile around it. Your extracurriculars, essays, and recommendations should reinforce your passions. That way, it's really easy for the admissions officer to remember you as, oh, it's the potato kid who fed his town, or the Martian dreamer who built future cities for fun. Also, external recognition, external validation really helps. Media coverage, whether that's through local news or blogs or even small podcasts. All of that adds credibility to your profile, to your cause, and helps you stand out. Every year, these top colleges get profiles with perfect grades. So they need something to differentiate from amongst the applicant pool. They want future leaders. And the best way to prove that you can lead is to show them that you're already making an impact. Moving on to dark truth number 2. College truly is pay to play. Surprise! Not everyone who gets in actually earned it. Take the infamous Varsity Blues scandal. Did you guys ever see one of those crazy Rick Singer memes? Maybe not, it was from a while back. So if you haven't heard of this scandal, well, allow me to enlighten you. In 2019, over 50 people were arrested for paying off coaches, falsifying test scores, and bribing their way into schools like USC, Yale, and Stanford. In case you're wondering, this isn't some random one-off issue. 2022 investigation found that nearly 25% of all donations came from just 3% of alumni. Those same wealthy donors who are leveraging their status and capital to secure spots for their children. Take Miss Olivia Jade, for instance. Her mom, Lori Loughlin, paid the admissions office $500,000 to get Olivia into USC. USC was also keenly aware that Miss Lori Loughlin was a pop culture icon. Olivia herself even admitted on social media that her academics were weak and she didn't really care for attending class. Nice, Olivia. But every time her name is mentioned, USC gets some free publicity thanks to their family's fame. What if I told you that you could access the very same high quality resources completely for free? If you're a first gen, low income kid, boy, do I have a present for you. You don't need to pay 30 grand a year to hire a consultant when Matriculate is offering the same level of guidance and quality completely free of charge. We even partner with them and edit hundreds of scholarship essays completely for free. Now, if you're a middle class kid and you don't qualify for these programs, don't worry, I also have a gift for you. Did you know that you can access a Harvard education completely for free? Just search on YouTube, Harvard CS50 or MIT OpenCourseWare, or Yale Lectures on Philosophy. It's literally right there at your fingertips. And yes, it actually works. A few years back, I worked with a scholarship kid from India. He applied early to Harvard, he was deferred, and then he was rejected. After dusting himself off, he hopped back into the ring. He took the entire Harvard Computer Science 4-year degree. All the videos are online, as I said, and he watched all of the videos, he took the course, he basically learned everything there was to learn in 8 months. Then, when he reapplied to Harvard the following year, he got it. Guys, the funniest part is that rich kids never do this. They're too busy playing lacrosse, or sailing, or rowing crew. But guess what? Since you're not doing any of those things, you have an extra 20 hours a week to watch these videos and master this material. Even if you don't get into your dream school, I promise this is gonna help you so much in the long run. Guys, I went to Yale, and I promise you, I learned more from YouTube than from Yale. Dark truth number 3. Institutional priorities. Let's get into a lesser known truth that I haven't really seen anyone on YouTube talk about very much. I'll let the stats paint the picture. During this 5-year stretch from 2014 to 2019, Harvard admitted just 5.5% of all applicants, but 34% of legacy applicants, 47% of faculty kids, and 86% of recruited athletes. Nearly half of those recruited athletes come from families earning well over $250,000 a year, and 83% of recruited athletes are white. There's an even smaller subsection where around 20% of those recruited athletes come from families whose yearly income is over $500,000. The reason this is so messed up to me is because high costs create these super high barriers to entry. A lot of these are rich kids sports. I wasn't talking about lacrosse and crew and polo, ironically. Like, kids get recruited for that, and club lacrosse costs $8,000 a year. In total, youth sports has become a $19 billion industry, and surprise, and again, it favors the wealthy and often shuts out kids from lower income backgrounds. Again, these days the Harvard acceptance rate is even lower. Just 3.4% of applicants were accepted, but over 80% of recruited athletes get in, even though they undergo, supposedly, the same review process. Anyways, I'm sure the average viewer here doesn't have an Olympic medal in fencing or bobsledding, so what can you do if the cards are not stacked in your favor? For first-gen low-income students, there's so much power in telling your story and telling it well. Whether you're the first in your family to attend college, or you've overcome significant financial hardships, you've had to sacrifice to support your siblings. Writing about these challenges, specifically writing about how you overcame these challenges, that's how you're going to get recruited to these top colleges. In your Common App, supplementals, tell stories about the wildest obstacles you've had to overcome. Maybe you've had to work multiple jobs. Maybe you've had to sacrifice to support your siblings. Or maybe you've simply lived through experiences most people can't imagine. I, for example, wrote my Common App essay about working in my parents' Chinese restaurant. Another kid I worked with a few years back, who's now studying computer science at Stanford, he wrote about picking grapes during the summer with his dad and nearly dying in the process. He even had to eat mud pies. That's like mud mixed with water, to stave off hunger. If you have a story like that, there's no shame at all in using it to your advantage. Now, if I'm being completely real, the hardest profile is your average middle-class American. But don't worry, you too have a secret ace up your sleeve. Again, guys, it's all about branding and positioning. You have to swim against the current and showcase your unique talents. Maybe you've got a passion for something completely off the beaten path, like magic or sub-Saharan African history or quantum computing. Colleges love students with diverse interests. So don't be afraid if you're not terrific at one sport. You're a human being, for crying out loud, not a bug. Here's one of my best tips from this video. If you learn anything, if this is the only thing you learn from this video, I'll be pretty happy. A lot of people don't realize this, but cultural and religious diversity matters a ton. I've worked with many Asian, Indian applicants who highlights their cultural backgrounds to make their application truly shine. Whether that's attending temple, studying Buddhism, or just being involved in local cultural traditions. These experiences will help you big time when it comes to applying to and getting into your dream school. For more info on that, check out this video I made called How to Get Into Anything You Apply To. Oh my goodness, I can't believe I nearly forgot to say this, but if you're enjoying today's video, please consider liking and subscribing. It really helps us share more of this free educational content to sensational students just like you. Thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. Our fourth and final dark truth, the counselor connection. Private high schools have an insane advantage in college admissions. And honestly, it's not even close. These top schools handpick their students through essays and applications. So from the get-go, they're building a class of kids who are, quite frankly, tough to reject. Add in the massive resources, hyper-specialized college counseling, and deeply ingrained institutional ties. And it's no surprise or secret that private school students often have a leg up. Also, private school counselors really do be out here rubbing elbows with admission officers at invite-only events like the Fitzwilliam Conference or the Clambake Institute, where they spend entire days networking, playing golf, hiking. And these relationships matter. At elite high schools, if a student gets deferred or waitlisted, the counselor just picks up the phone. One kid was straight up told, just keep your A in honors calc, bud, and you're in. This even happened at my private boarding school, Phillips Exeter Academy, although it was much more benevolent. There was a first-gen, low-income kid who had been deferred and waitlisted, and the director of college counseling called his Ivy League admissions office and was like, hey, you guys should seriously take him. What can we do to get him off the waitlist? That's the kind of insider access that changes outcomes and lives. But here's the part that no one talks about. They're not even comparing private boarding school kids at Exeter versus other, normal private school kids from Florida or California or Texas. Generally speaking, they compare public school kids to other public school kids and private school kids to other private school kids, typically in your city, in your region, in your state. So if you're at a public school in Virginia, you don't need to be better than Kevin from Exeter. You just need to be better than Joe in your calc class. Also, you too can and should butter up your counselor. Unlike private school counselors who are paid a little bit more and just don't have as many students that they need to look after, public school counselors have hundreds, sometimes thousands of students they need to juggle at once. The simple truth is that they're not going to go out of their way and advocate for you unless you give them a reason to. Remember the potato kid from earlier? Be like him. Just imagine for a second that you grew a hydroponic potato farm in your garage, and then you donated some of those crops to fight food insecurity. Heck, you even donated a few potatoes to your guidance counselor, so they felt included. If you do that, you better believe your counselor will write a fire letter of recommendation for you. This isn't just for college, guys, but this is for life, right? Make yourself known, make yourself memorable. Show up both in person and online. Visit their office, send them email updates every month or so about your cool extracurriculars, your progress. Make sure they know not just who you are as a student, but who you are as a person, why you do the things you do. Again, when it comes time to write a letter of recommendation, which by the way, some schools value even more than your own essays, you want them to not just remember you, but vouch for you, root for you, give up their right arm for you. You want them to say, this Kevin kid, he's the best student I've had the pleasure of knowing in the last 10 years. That's how you get into your top school. By the way, since I'm feeling so generous, I'll leave you guys another present. Check out the comment section in the description where I'll attach a model letter of recommendation that got one of our students into Stanford a few years back. As we wrap up, I want to leave you guys with some final thoughts. In college admissions, school, and life, it's not about how you start. It's about how you adapt and how you keep moving forward. Yes, the system is flawed, but guess what? So is every system you're going to be a part of for the rest of your life. We all know the game isn't fair, but why adopt a victim mentality when you can change your mindset to carve and chart your own path? If this video resonated with you and you guys want to take your college apps to the next level, check out our website, www.elevated.school/get-started. And if you want to get your college essays professionally edited, reviewed by a member of our team, check out www.elevated.school/edit-my-essay. And if you guys have thoughts, whether you agree, disagree, or just want to vent, let me know in the comment section below. I'm always curious to hear what you guys are thinking. All right, guys, take it easy. Catch you at the next one. Peace.